Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Frida. Friends, it is late at night. This is a podcast for tomorrow morning. Hello to you. We are checking in. We are checking up on this hump day healing. I thought it would be fun to talk about alignment. 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 What is an alignment? What does it feel like in your body to be in alignment? When do you know when something is out of alignment? Alignment. Friends, I'm just getting back from being gone for 7 days. I was up at my sister's helping her do some work, and then we had Thanksgiving, and then my husband came up, and we went on a trip together to celebrate my birthday, and then I helped my sister work a little bit more, and now I'm home again. So the topic of alignment comes up because I was helping my sister do a project for a company that is having a holiday party, and the holiday party theme is like circus and trains. And I was helping her make these big train cars that kind of look like the old school animal cracker boxes. And then they're going to have these giant FAO short style stuffed animals inside of these different train cars. And she hired me to make 4 of them. She got me all the materials, and I just made them from scratch. Now, that is the kind of work that I used to do all the time at my old job. And I loved it. I loved working in that as an artist for an event planner. I loved making all of these really cool sets and props for these parties. And we used to have this giant 3,500 square foot warehouse. It had a wood shop. There was a warehouse manager guy that was also a handyman. So like he would build this stuff and then I would paint it. I was primarily the painter. But in this situation, I was also the one that built the boxes and the frames and built these things. And I did a nice job. It was cute. It was good. They also had to come apart, so they were constructed in such a way that they had Velcro on them so that they could be taken apart in pieces, travel flat, and then be put back together at a location for the party. And the project, I had anticipated it might take about 3 days, and it actually took 5. And it was completely fine. I had time to do it. And the 5 was actually 2 half days, to be fair. But it's one of those things where, like, when I first started working for my sister when I was younger, after college, being able to be in that environment, making this really cool stuff, I loved it. I absolutely loved what I was doing. It was hyper creative and super cool. And I did it for 15 years, 9 months. And like the last 5 years-ish of that was like a little bit strained. And that was when I was out of alignment. And I was doing a lot of stuff in my private life in order to try to like manage my blown out nervous system and not feeling harmonious in the work that I was doing. So I would do a lot of stuff that to sort of like not honor my body, not honor what my body was telling me. I lived in the East Bay and my job was in South San Francisco, and it was quite the commute. And it was really dreadful traffic, and it was dreadful traffic going in and dreadful traffic coming home. So I actually shifted my schedule in order to work from like 5 a.m. to like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, so that shift would be help me with the traffic a little bit, but the traffic was still bad. But I remember if I could cross the bridge before 5 a.m. So if I was crossing the bridge at like 4:30 in the morning, I could like get across the bridge. But after that, it was like so intense. The traffic was crazy. If you're unfamiliar with Bay Area traffic, it is it is cuckoo bananas. And this was pre-pandemic. It's a lot. When I first started working for her, I also, originally lived in South City and then San Francisco in the Mission District. I lived in Pacifica, but I really found my home in Oakland. And all those years commuting from Oakland, man, it was just brutal. It was brutal. I knew it was out of alignment in my body for many reasons. I had an eating disorder at the time. I was a binge eater, and the job would when I was extremely dysregulated in my body and just trying to manage, I found myself I would go into fugue states and just eat. So that was one way that the out of alignment would show up. And then I used to numb out with just listening to audio. I was a true crime addict. I would just listen to audiobooks and podcasts constantly because that was another way to just sort of be in the story as opposed to fully being present in my position and what I was doing. And we had these such long work hours, and it was it was just so busy in such a way, and more work than we had the ability to totally get done. It was always just exceeded, right? And in that exceeding, I would do things to try to self-regulate to be able to keep going and keep pushing through this. And it was really just not honoring my body. And I made this commitment to myself. I was just I will not do this again. When I stopped working that job, I was I'm not going to not show up for my physical form anymore. I want to check in with my body. I want to know what's happening with it, and then I want to honor it. I want to use the technology of my body to let it tell me what is in alignment and what isn't in alignment. And what do I mean by this? Rashes, stomach ache, sore throat, nasal condition, sinus, blurry vision, eye stuff. What other things? Swollen knees. I got what is it called? Housemaid's knee while working that job, because I did a lot of kneeling and working on the floor and crawling around working on the floor. There wasn't tons of table space. I was always working on the floor. And these projects were so huge, so I'd just be crawling around. And just not treating my body in a way where I was working safely under conditions that were thought through to keep my body safe. So I would always be just getting hurt. So I promised myself that I would make sure that I treated my body with compassion and listened to it. This is an agreement that I had. I made a contract, a pact, a vow I vowed to my body. And I made these vows during the pandemic when I was really working so hard on my eating disorder and just moving through that, doing the energy work component of it. I'd done a lot of the psychological with therapists, but then I was doing the energy components of the ED. And I just made a pact with my body. I was I will listen to you, I promise. So my sister asked me to do this. It was wonderful for me. It was a great opportunity because it was going to set me up financially for December in such a fashion that was positive. I think I told you guys that I wasn't going to teach my morning meditation program, Return to Self-Love, for the months of December. I'm integrating, I'm finding out what comes next, I'm really listening. And in doing this work for her, I'm able to, there's some freedom. I get some freedom financially within that because it's the trade-off. So I'm doing this job and that's a few days long as opposed to doing the teaching every day. So it was going to be 3 days. I worked 3 days on it. And then we had Thanksgiving. Then it was my birthday and we went off on this trip. And the 3 days I was unable to finish the project. And I was a little disappointed. And I noticed myself feel disappointment in my body because it was oh, that's sort of the contract. That was the agreement. The feeling was, I'm going to do this for 3 days. And I really wanted to take Thanksgiving off I didn't want to wake up Thanksgiving morning and keep pushing and working until dinner. I really wanted to enjoy that time with family. And I did. So in the past, I probably would have martyred myself and gone and worked on this project on Thanksgiving, but I didn't. I honored my body, and the aligned choice for me was to hang out with my family, hang out with my husband who was up, and just have a nice day. Enjoy helping, doing Thanksgiving things. Rest. Just rest. And the next day was my birthday, and my husband and I would go off on this trip. And we had 2 cars because I'd already been up in that area. So when we got back from the trip, we just came back a little early, and I went back to working on the project in about a half a day that Sunday and a half a day Monday. And I was able to finish the project. But I watched my body that Monday. My body didn't love that I was still doing that project. And I noticed that it just felt like a little bit out of alignment. So it was interesting. Nothing but gratitude for the project because of the financial benefits, but just noticing. All of these things can be held at the same time and be true. I can be grateful for the work and honor the process of doing it. I can be a little disappointed it's taking longer than I had hoped. I can finish the project and be proud of the fact that I finished it and be happy with the results, and simultaneously be like, okay, I'm noticing like the level of thrill involved with the finishing and the pride and all of the different things. It's just, it doesn't feel the same as like in the past. And I watched some things come up for me because the project is so large, it had to be able to be broken apart and put back together at the event. So I built it in such a way where it could be. But in my first 2 ones that I made, I put a lot of Velcro in it. Like, it was hard to like pull apart. It was hard to get apart. So just like the technical aspects of making something from scratch and figuring it out along the way and all of that good stuff. And just honoring the process, honoring the frustrations as they come up, the annoyances, and just moving through it. But I did watch something, a pattern that I used to have was when I couldn't get my work done, a pattern I had was that I would get frustrated with myself and I would talk mean to myself. Like, why are you so stupid? Why are you so slow? Why can't you get this done faster? Why aren't you faster? Why didn't you think through all of this complicated? You're making it for the first time, pulling it out of your butt. You're just designing on the fly. Like, why didn't you think through and realize you wouldn't need this much Velcro? Oh, this is too hard to pull apart now. Just all of these things that I used to experience. Now, that didn't happen, but there was some emotions opened up, like almost like a little peek into the way that things used to be and the way that I would push myself and then just be like annoyed with myself that I wasn't faster. And I watched a little bit of that surface for me, and I just had to really breathe into it and allow it to move through and pass. But yeah, there was some triggers that came up in doing the project. Not in the first 3 days. It was in that overflow. So yeah, just sharing about alignment and noticing when things are not in alignment. So my sister is one of my students in my program. And she's an incredible energy healer on her own. My sister has amazing gifts, and quite talented. But we do morning meditation together. She's in return to self-love and all that good stuff. And that Monday, I was a little tense, and we ended up doing a meditation together in the morning just because that's something positive that we can do. And she had a little energy to move. So we sat down, we did the meditation, I led it, and I moved the energy. I moved the energy out of the room. And when I was doing the energy work and moving the energy and feeling through that and noticing in my body, I was a 10. I was elated. I love moving energy. I love working in the multisensory world. I love channeling. I love channeling light through my body. I love the voice channeling that I do. I love singing light codes. I love using my hands and allowing them to just make symbols and shapes. I allow spirit in my body and it just moves, and I can move energy in the room, and I love it. And afterwards, she felt so much better. The energy was moved through. It all worked. But I watched the difference between like the work that I used to do with building, making art, making these party props. And then that juxtaposed with doing the energy work. And it's the same scenario, the same people in the room, like it's the same thing. And just noticing how good that makes me feel, how in alignment I felt, and how my body just sang. I move energy and my body is on fire for it. I love it. I love it. Love it. It brings me joy. It makes my tissues in my body sing. I feel like starlight. My system is covered in sparkles. I am in ecstasy when I move energy for people. And that makes me truly deeply happy. Well, if you want to talk about alignment and moving towards something that brings you joy, that's what it feels like. So I love channeling, and I love channeling light through my body to assist others. I do a lot of work to make sure that what I am bringing through, so that everything around me is correct in order to bring through the best possible energy for the person that I'm meditating with or groups that I'm meditating with, clearing their spaces as well energetically when I work with them, and then go into the energy, move what no longer serves out of the way, activate and welcome in the new. And Bob's your uncle. We're done. And then it's my job I love it. I'm at a 10, right? But then my job is to move my body. So when I finished with my sister, I went and took a walk. I took the dog out for a walk. I went and hugged some trees. But after I move the energy for others, I have to go move my own body and reset myself too. So that's part of the work. And I'm just sharing that because I think that it's an important aspect of sharing. Because I want to be transparent. And in these storytellings, in these teachings, I want you to understand the process, at least as it applies to me. Because I read so many books and all of that, but I never really read how healers worked. So I always want to let you in on it, or give you the glimpses, because within that, I think that could be helpful, because it works different for each and every one of us. So I just want to share what I'm doing with you, in case maybe it gives some insight as to what's happening in your world or in your body. Anyway, alignment. It's very clear to me when I am in alignment. And really that comes to listening to my body, a promise which I made for it. So it was interesting because after leaving and starting to head home and coming back after doing the work, I called up one of my best friends on the phone and was talking to them and just sort of sharing how I was really enjoying it, but then it was confusing because there was a little additional time, and I just was super hyper vigilant and aware and wondering about am I betraying myself, but wanting to finish the project and noticing these different feelings and emotions coming up. And my friend was just just trust the process. Trust everything as it comes up. You're just going to let the emotions and the energy flow through. And no, you're not betraying yourself. Sometimes you help your family. Sometimes you go work for your family. You do the thing. It's okay. My sister takes care of me so much. She has taken care of me she takes care of me, period. Like financially, emotionally, lovingly. She's really a huge part of my life. And she's 15, 16 years older than me. So she is like in a parent style position as well, because in a way, I mean, I view her as my equal and my sister, but in so many ways, she's always taken a lot of responsibilities and given me things that a parent would give me, like vacations and financial assistance and like just taking care of me. Yep. And my friend was just like, it's okay. You're not betraying yourself. Sometimes you just help your family. So I was given an opportunity, and one of my favorite things, I say, triggers are my best friend. They show me where I have work to do. So the situation brought up a trigger from the past, which it wasn't super crazy sticky. This wasn't like a big deal, but it did come up. Some like old patterning, some old feelings of a desire to be like, oh, I wish I designed this better. I wish, and two of them were better because of the first two. But like, I didn't berate myself, but I had some stuff come up where I was like, oh, I wish I did this better. And like, that's that old patterning. It's that old stuff. And then just allowing it to move through, allowing it to pass, and coming back into alignment. So let me tell you, I came home yesterday night. I was so happy to be home. My husband had the house really nice and clean. It was beautiful. And I got into bed that night, and I was so happy to be back in my bed. I love going away. I love travel. I love trips. I love all of it. And then I love coming home. I love coming home to my own bed with my favorite pillow and being home again. I had a good night's sleep, and today was a new day. And today was a wonderful day. And when I woke up today, I got to come and sit and meditate, and I got to be in the surroundings where I was able to drop back into my semi-trance voice channeling that I've been doing. I have practice. I didn't tell you guys this. I have been working with a semi-trance voice channeling coach for months now, and I am working on becoming a semi-trance voice channel, and it's not ready to be shared with the world yet. It's still private for me, but things are amazing. I love doing it, and it brings me unbelievable amounts of joy. And I don't know exactly how I intend to share that with the world, but I will. I don't know if it's like a questions thing. I don't know if people ask questions, or if the being that I'm channeling wants to just monologue. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's really, really an amazing gift. And when I say gift, I mean that the universe, one of my things that I say to the universe is, what if my life is getting better in ways I can't even imagine? And in this last year, I was introduced to my womb through the Magdalene Mysterium, a 6-month program I did with Sita Santos, who was on the podcast Monday. And then we had a wonderful women's workshop where we meet once a month and sit in sisterhood for the rest of the year. So I got to spend the year with her, and she was a huge part of my year. My God, like a huge influence on me. That whole priestess lineage is something that is so, it's like an ancient remembrance. It's so familiar to me. And it's so interesting because my personality and who I am in the world, this Frida, this expression of the soul right now, isn't that. I am not a priestess. I am not tending the altar and working in that way this time, but there's so much ancient remembrance And it's so funny to be the goofy, I'm very goofy comedian lady, me. I think of myself as very funny, right? So I'm goofy. And this goofy human, laughing, running through the woods and hanging out with fairies is the expression of the person that I am this time. But that deep devotion runs in my blood. I feel it. I understand it, and I'm deeply connected to it. Almost like that nun-style devotion of prayer and sitting and a willingness to show up and breathe through all of the fire. So, huge part of my life. What was the second huge part? The second huge part is meeting an incredible teacher to teach me how to semi-trans voice channel. What a blessing. And when I say, what if my life is getting better in ways I can't even imagine, I did not see this one on my bingo card. I didn't see it on my bingo card at all. And something I've shared on the podcast before is like, light language, and I channel through my body. That's divine light channel, right? I'm bringing through the highest vibrational light of source for the people that I'm working with. But this channeling is a little bit different. The semi-trans voice channeling is I fall out and the spirit comes in. And it is really about learning to work with one being or collective. And then, so I've met my person isn't the right word. I've met my energy, and we are learning each other's, we practice. There is so many steps to learning how to do this safely. It is a process and a practice, and I have been incredibly dedicated to it for like maybe 3 or 4 months now. I'm loving it. And now we've gotten to the point where, I'm channeling through words and stuff, and it's very cool. But those are all things to bring to you in 2026. And it might be part of some kind of new format as well, because maybe this podcast shifts. Maybe Wednesdays, they're channels or something. There's channeled messages, or maybe we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I'll find out what they want to do, and then we'll see what I want to do. Well, and the semi-trans voice channeling is 100% in alignment. Talk about in alignment. I love that. And I've always loved partner work, like being really close to a partner. And this is super cool because it's like having a partner, but your partner isn't in like corporeal form. Your partner is in energy. That you're working with. It's very cool, and you'll hear lots about it. I'm not incredibly ready to unveil it yet. It's still kind of on the DL. All right, friends. We talked about alignment. I'm going to edit this podcast for tomorrow morning. I'm going to wish you an absolutely fabulous day or evening whenever this is greeting you. And I hope this was helpful just in giving a little bit of chit-chat about listening to our bodies and tuning in to find out what our bodies are telling us, and listening. Listen to your body. Your body has infinite amounts of information. Infinite amounts of information. If you are medicating your body to make it so that it doesn't hurt, or doing drastic things to keep it in line, trust me when I tell you those allergies are information. That pain that you're taking the Tylenol for, it's information. If we choose to learn to read the Bible of our bodies. So often our minds just want to make them be something or do something, and they often want our bodies to do something that our bodies aren't. But yeah, they are an incredible technology when we listen. All right, my dears, I love you. God, Universe, Source loves you. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.